Hi guys, this is Amit and welcome to another Python tutorial. So in my last two videos I showed like how you can create simple bar plots using NumPy and Matplotlib, and in my last video I showed like how you can create pie charts using pandas. So I just want to keep the momentum going, and in this video I want to create scatter plots using a library called Seaborn, which is basically a Python data visualization library, and you can like create highly customized diagrams with that. So this is like what scatter plots look like if you didn't know already. And like I just want to take a brief moment to explain why we need scatter plots to begin with. So like scatter plots are used when you want to show relationship between variables. They're also like sometimes called correlation plots for the very same reason, because they show like how two variables are correlated with each other. Okay, so let's just start writing our code. The first thing that we need to do, of course, is import the library. So we're gonna say import Seaborn as SNS. Okay, so now we need what we need is we need data for our graph, right? We can do that. We can create our data set manually, or there is another way out. We can basically fetch data sets that are already available. So like the Seaborn library has a method called load dataset, which basically allows us to fetch data sets that are already available. So if you just like go through the documentation of the function, we can see like what are the parameters that it takes. So for example, as the name, we can basically specify the name of the dataset that we want to fetch. So the name has like there is this get dataset names, which will give us the list of the datasets that are available for fetching, right? So we can use that. Like for example, let's just try it out. Let's run this code, and then let's write SNS, and what's the method? It's get dataset names, which would give us the list of the names of datasets that are already available. So yeah, it just took a while and gave us the names, right? So like these are the datasets that we can fetch. Okay, just for this particular exam, we're gonna for this particular example, we are gonna use the iris dataset. Okay, and if you didn't know already, iris is like a very popular dataset that is like used in machine learning and stuff. So we're gonna import that. So let's just say SNS load dataset, cool. And then as the parameter, we're gonna mention the name of the dataset, which is iris. So we're gonna say iris. Okay, awesome. Okay, so now like for plotting the diagram, okay, before that we need to like store the entire thing into objects, right? So we're gonna select df. Let's just call it df. Okay, so now what we need to do, for plotting the graph, we need to use a method that is in the Seaborn library, which is like recplot. So let's just go and read its documentation. Okay, so this is basically what recplot is, and it takes a plethora of parameters, and we don't need all of that. Like you can use like different parameters for creating like highly customized graphs, but like I just want to keep it very simple, so I'm just gonna show you like a few parameters. So like let's just say x and y, which basically represents the column names of the data that we want for the respective axis. So like for example, we have to basically specify the column name of the values that we want for the x-axis and then y-axis respectively. So like if you just look at the data set, like these are the column names, right? So if you want like if you want this value, if you want the sepal length values as the x-axis, you have to specify that. And if you like want the sepal width values for the y-axis, we have to specify respectively, right? So we're gonna do that. We're gonna say like SNS recplot, and then like specify the column name for the x-axis. What we're gonna do is we're gonna select x. For the axis values, we want the datas that are like that is like we want the values of the sepal length, right? So we're gonna select double quotes and then pass the values of the sepal length for the x-axis, and we're gonna do the same for the y-axis as well. So we're gonna say y equals to df, and what we want for the y-axis, we basically want the values that are in the sepal width. So we're gonna say sepal width. Okay, cool. And And there's like another like if you just read the documentation, like there is another parameter which is called fitreg, which if the value of it is true, then it basically creates a regression line which helps us understand if the values are correlated with each other or if they are not correlated at all. So I'm gonna show you both ways. So for now, let's just keep the value as false. Let's say fitreg as false. Okay, and that's all. It's a very simple code. Let me just clear the console and then let's run the code. And there you go, it has created a scatter plot. Now if you just keep the value as true and then clear the console and then just run the code, it's gonna create a regression line, right? So it helps us understand how they're correlated with each other, right? So guys, that's all for this video. I just wanted to create this very simple video that is gonna show you how you can create scatter plots for the different purposes that you might have with Seaborn. And guys, thank you so much for watching. Do let me know in the comments if you have found errors in while you're working with it, so that I might be able to help you out with that. And see you next time. Bye.